Victoria, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
What would you do with an extra $104,000?
Oh, well, first of all, it wouldn't be an extra. Second.
Yeah, right? It would not be an extra.
So many things. Biff would get so many dog treats.
I know, right? Everything would be paid off. It'd be wonderful.
Right.
That's what Bubba Cunningham got. Bubba Cunningham, the athletic director of North Carolina, receives, this according to 24/7 Sports, it's built into his contract, he receives an additional 1 month of his salary, which is $104,000 and change. He makes that because UNC made it to the NCAA tournament. That's what he gets for UNC being in the field of 68 as the last team in. Bubba Cunningham, the director of UNC, also the chair of the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee. So keep this in mind. By the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. So keep this in mind. When he has to get up and leave the room, anytime North Carolina is discussed, he has to get up and leave the room. There's the human nature. We just talked to Rob Doster of 68, Field of 68. We just talked to him just a moment ago. And he said there's the human nature, the human element of seeing someone that you have been working on piecing together a March Madness tournament field, working this thing together, and he has to go, oh, you guys are going to talk about North Carolina. Well, I just need to step out. And he walks out of the room. You don't want to let that guy down because guess what? When he comes back into the room, he's going to learn what was said about his school. Mm-hmm. He's going to figure out in some way, shape, or form because when they're starting to, however they do it, ranking 1 through 68 or comparing some of these other schools, what it might be, he's going to see it because he has to put those teams in their seeds. That's what he has to do. So he's going to see it. So he's going to find out. And then so he's going to see, he's going to see what the other schools are around North Carolina. And then he has to talk about those other schools. Again, it's human nature. There's the real human element to all this. Of course, there's an influence in some way, shape, or form. Now, just because of that, that doesn't necessarily mean they should not have been in the tournament. I mentioned earlier Xavier. Xavier also only has one quad 1 win. Xavier has a lower net ranking. Xavier has multiple quad 2 losses, which North Carolina doesn't have. Wins above bubble. North Carolina's ranking is 42. Xavier's is 49. But Xavier's in. Xavier's actually ahead of North Carolina. Again, Rob Doster said, I'll say it as well, you can do anything that you want to justify what school should not have been or should have been in, this team, whatever it might be. But it all boils down to this. You play games on the court, right? The results of those games have to matter. So if you're West Virginia with 14 losses, that's 14 more opportunities that you had to win games. Indiana, 13 losses. 13 more opportunities that you had to win games. Same with North Carolina. If North Carolina didn't make it in, you know what I'd be saying? You had 13 losses on your schedule. That was 13 opportunities you had to boost your resume.
Yeah, don't play with your food. Exactly.
Ohio State, you have 15 losses this season. Boise State, 10. Like, there are so many of these schools had an all these schools did. Not so many. All of them did. Had the opportunity on the floor to earn their way in. Not put themselves in a position to be judged. You know who earned their way in? Louisville did. Clemson did. They earned their way in despite not winning their conference regular season or their conference tournament. They earned their way in by winning on the court. And that's what matters. But that also doesn't mean things with the selection process can't change. There are people, Rob talked about it, there are people who literally dedicate their lives Joe Lunardi of ESPN literally has his entire job is breaking down the numbers and metrics and how teams play, and puts out his bracketology of what he projects the field would be based off all the stuff.
And throws out some crazy hot takes sometimes.
Sometimes he does that too. But everything he does is based on some sort of number. That's what these people do. If the NCAA tournament wants to get it right, you have to have more non-biased and non-partisan people in the room saying, this is just simply what the numbers are. This is how they rank in these key areas. How much weight you want to give these different metrics, that's up to, the committee can decide that in advance. Okay, well, if you're giving, Ken Palm more weight or whatever it might be, boom, here are the numbers. They spit it out. This is what it looks like. You get all of your automatic qualifiers in there. Here's what it looks like. This who gets in. I mean, you got to have more of those people in the room. You need to have those people in the room. Otherwise, you're going to get this. Again, both things can be true. There's the human element that maybe influenced North Carolina getting in. I'll say maybe. I'm not going to say definite. I'm not going to put definitive statements on it because I was not in the room. But you can infer. You certainly can.
And any season that UNC kind of plays with their food and puts them in this position where they could be in or out over like a game, having Bubba is going to cause the same reaction every time. Every time.
100%. 100%. And guess what? If it was the AD of West Virginia and WVU gets in, guess what people are going to say?
Same thing.
The same damn thing.
Same thing.
The same damn thing. Multiple things can be true. The system can change. The people making the decisions and how things are structured can change. But also doing the damn thing of winning games on the court, that still has to matter. Again, every single one of these schools, West Virginia, Indiana, Boise State, Ohio State, San Diego State, Xavier, UNC, Texas, Wake Forest, all these schools put themselves in a position where they had to be judged by others as opposed to taking care of business on the floor. Because guess what? If North Carolina completes their comeback on Friday against Duke and wins that game, there's zero question in my mind. Zero. Now, people might say, well, you beat Duke without Cooper Flagg, blah, 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 blah. I was at the game. Duke is still a top 15 team without Cooper Flagg on the floor and Malik Brown. And guess what? UNC had that opportunity to take care of business in that game, and they didn't. They had an opportunity to beat Stanford at home. I was at the game, and they didn't. All those furious comebacks, again, doesn't matter anymore now. Where they sit is where they sit. Never leave things in the hands of judges. Take care of your business on the floor. If you want to gripe about you didn't make it in the NCAA tournament, look in the mirror first. Look in the mirror first. I said it once, I'll say it again. More than one thing can be true. And you have a valid gripe to say, hey, the last team that gets into the tournament, the head of the chair of the committee is their AD. Yeah, I'd be pissed off too. That's valid. It's 100% valid. Bubba Cunningham gets $104,000.
There's that.
I will say this, though.
No big deal.
Being here in the state of North Carolina, and as someone who loves college basketball, for me, I love the fact that another North Carolina school got in.
Yeah,
I love
exciting.
the fact, to me, for what I do, seeing North Carolina in the NCAA tournament, to me, is good. I love it.
Gives us more to talk about.
Yeah, but guess what? I get to see them play on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
I get to see them play on Tuesday. I was talking to a couple of people with the affiliated with the UNC basketball team on Friday after they lost to Duke, asking about what their feelings were for Sunday. And they're like, I don't know. It's 50-50 at this point. It's like flip a coin. They said, hey, a lot of people are going to lean on the quad one record, but have you watched us play? Like, if you watch us play, we're a tournament team. But everyone wants to lean on the quad one. So they said, hey, you know what? If we got to go to Dayton, we'll go to Dayton. Sure enough, they're going to Dayton. I cannot wait. This is going to be such a fun week of the college basketball in the state of North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
UNC Wilmington's in it. Duke's in it. High Point's in it. UNC's in it. We have men's college basketball, first and second round games at the Lenovo Center in Raleigh. The schools that are coming here, we got obviously Duke's going to be here. Florida, UConn, Oklahoma, Mississippi State, big-time programs that are coming here to Raleigh. UNC, Duke, and NC State women's basketball are all hosting first and second round games as well. We're the hoop state for a reason. This is awesome.
I know.
I am so excited.
If we had TVs on carts, I would totally wheel it in here.
I know.
We don't.
Let's talk to our engineering department. Let's get them in here.
Just get an old one.
Just get it in
fine.
here.